Kicking up dust on a rick house floor. Charred oak whispers we can't ignore. Stories in the mash, fire in the grain. Raise up your glass, feel that bourbon flame. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. From Kentucky hills to the neon lights, we're talking small batch days and whiskey nights. Tasting the past in every pour. Gonna carve our names on the distiller's door. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the backwoods stills to tonight's big show. Every drop a story, every sip that's drowned. We're bourbon legends, let's throw it down. Let's throw it down. Raise 'em high, feel the fire. Clinking glasses, lifting higher. One more toast to the ones before and the legends we're making forevermore. We're the bourbon legends, let the spirit flow. From the rick house walls to your front row. Every drop a story, every sip a crown. We're bourbon legends, come gather round. Come gather round. Come gather round.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bourbon Legends, and this is Cersei Night Live. This is Roger, not normal co-host or host. I'm the co-host, but the host is occupied somewhere else doing things with a sleigh and reindeer. I don't know. But I do have my special co-host, Chill Will Rocko, with me, and he's going to help me out tonight and get through this beautiful show. Are we ready, Chill?
Yeah, and I've been told that I am completely unscripted tonight, so there's no telling what I'm going to say or do.
Oh, boy.
I mean, there's no rules, no telling what's going to happen, so y'all better watch out.
Okay, so you've all been forewarned and got an advance warning.
That's
And
right.
I think Lisa is our guest today, and she's in the background. She probably knows, but there's no rules tonight.
There's
So we're
no
going to have a
rules.
good time with this. No rules.
No rules.
Ask the questions in the chat. Put them out there. We probably ignore them like we normally do and make people
That's
unhappy.
right, T.
Oh,
That's
wait.
right, T.
Yeah.
Wild Will Rocko tonight. That's right.
Wild Will Rocko. There we go.
Hey, you got to highlight that one, Roger.
Oh, hold on.
Shirtless. I don't know, Tom Black. I don't know that I'm going to do the shirtless thing. Y'all probably don't want to see that. And yes, this show is pants optional, T. You are correct.
Oh. There we go. All in it. So
it's going to be a
we're
fun
having
time,
too
y'all.
much fun.
Already having too much fun.
But guys, tomorrow is a very special day. If you drink bourbon, you drink wine, you drink beer, any of those spirits, tomorrow. Well, that's a paint thinner more of a thing, and not a drink. But you can use it. It can count.
Yeah.
It can count. Okay. But tomorrow, and I'm going to see if I can get this to work right, is December 5th is Repeal Day.
Awesome.
So it's celebrating
Hey,
the repeal of Prohibition on December 5th of 1933. Everybody,
Cheers, Roger.
little toast and cheers. So we've got some excitement. There's been a couple of people who want us to go live tomorrow night. I don't know. It all depends on what we can get together, because we might have had too much fun tonight. So, but we'll see. We'll have to figure this out and kind of go from there. But remember that tomorrow is Repeal Day, so take another toast tomorrow night and enjoy it. Anything you want to say about Repeal Day? What are you going to do special tomorrow for Repeal Day, Will?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to work tomorrow, but after work, I might come down here and see if there's any chance of finding something to maybe celebrate. It's going to be difficult to find anything, but
yeah, you don't have enough bottles. I don't know if you're going to. I
don't have anything. I don't really have anything to drink, so I may have to stop at the store tomorrow.
Oh, I like that idea.
I may have to buy something.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to probably have a few pours down here. I might drink some wine with some folks out on the West Coast to begin with, because we typically do that. And then they start about 1:00 in the afternoon, which is 3:00 here, that starts a whole crazy evening. And we'll see how that plays out. Yeah.
Somebody told me,
what else is going to do?
Somebody told me you can't drink all day if you don't start early.
Exactly. So what we've got tonight, and our first thing we're going to talk about, we have breaking bourbon news. Yes, we do.
There's things that we don't even
know. No, not that kind of breaking.
Okay.
That was kind of an AI generated image. I don't.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it looks cool. So there's things I don't even have slides for that we're going to talk about, because everybody's wanting to talk about it, because Knob Creek has set the world on, or Jim Beam has set the world on fire today in social media with the release of the fact that they had a label approved for a cask strength version of the 12-year Knob Creek bourbon.
But not
no, that's 100 proof. This one's going to be 120 plus proof. So we can't be the last one to present it on our show. So I just figured I'd throw it in and have everybody talk about it. But we've got that's making people excited. I've gotten about 10 or 15 messages today. Yeah. It's all over Bourbon Tube. It's everywhere. But it'll be one of those things that I think this is something they need to do. I think they have enough bourbon to do it right now, as we found out when we were there.
Sure.
So if they do it right, they can bring this product back, and it'll move it. I think it'll make it one of the better bourbon releases of next year.
And that'll be one that I'll definitely be chasing. The Knob Creek 9, the store picks and the cask strengths of those are almost always excellent. I've got a new Knob Creek 9 that I picked up from my local store. It's 10 years, just over 10 years, 122.4 proof, and I actually got to help pick this. So I'm really excited about this Knob Creek 12 cask strength.
I'm gonna enjoy whenever they do. We finally do get the release on this, and we can give a release date and kind of talk about it at that point. But but before that, there's something else that we need all the bourbon legends to remember and go out and check on. Today, there was an email that was sent out by Sazerac for the Barrel Select Group. And if you know, if you've been out there and you've got points generated and you've been in there, I've got 10 points. We'll see if it means anything this year.
I mean, somebody's got to win, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to win. So they're going to be giving away. They're going to be not giving away. They're going to be selecting a whole group of members to do a Blanton's Gold. 8 members to do a Blanton's Gold pick, and then 125 additional members to do Weller full proof and E.H. Taylor single barrel, Stag, and a couple of more. So
Yeah, that's
make sure you go
exciting.
out and update your raffles.
Yep. I mean, that would be pretty awesome to get a Weller foolproof pick or a Stag
And
pick, you know?
yeah, and if you, as a part of your process, there's a spot in there to say what bourbon club that you're a member of and or would like to share with.
hmm
Please, if you can, put in the Bourbon Legends because we would love to work with you on that and do the help out with the distribution. We've got about 4 or 5 stores, depending on where we're at, that would be glad to help us with that because they
Yep.
like it. They like getting it in, and the individual that wins would get a barrel and get what they can want
Yeah.
of the case.
Got to make sure to check that ready to buy box though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because if you don't do that, you can't win.
That's right.
So if you have any questions about this over the next couple of days, please ping me, ping Will. Don't ping Santa because he is too busy. He's out on that
Yeah,
sleigh,
he's
and
busy.
as you'll see later,
He's,
he has a new sleigh that he developed, and I
I'm
don't
gonna,
know
I'm
if
gonna
the kids will
throw
like it, but we like
I'm
it.
gonna throw the email address for the Bourbon Legends in the chat. So, I mean, if you've got some questions there too, you can always hit that email address, and you know
We'll be able to
somebody will
walk
get
you
back to
through it.
you.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
walk you through
at some
it.
point.
Yeah, because make sure you're signed up. If you haven't done it, then do it and sign up for it and get a point the first time you sign up.
hmm
And I've heard of people that have 1 point that have won. So you have to be entered. You can't win if you're not entered.
That's right.
All right. Well, the next exciting thing we're going to talk about is the new release of winter whiskey from New Riff. And Will, I don't know if you remember, I got a bottle of this last year and we had it. And
Yeah, yeah, it's very excellent. And I'm looking at the first couple of lines there in the little write up, and it's talking about malted oats and chocolate malt. I mean, this has got to be just an amazing hot chocolate cocoa pour. I mean, that's kind of what I would think you would get out of it. What do you think, Roger?
I got all of that and more last year. And I
Yeah.
always think it's funny. We got a lot of these releases coming right out in the wintertime and the Christmas time, and everything got that Christmassy feel to it in the description, but it
hmm
does match those notes. I've got a little bit left from last year, not a full bottle, but I got a little bit left so that I could try it against this year's version of it, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
What do you think our chances are of seeing it here locally?
I talked to John at 107 and let him know
hmm
to order it if he
Okay.
has if he gets it available on his list. And
Yeah.
he said he'd get in touch with me and let me know. And if he does, and he was only get 4 to 6 bottles, I'll tell him I might be able to get rid of all of them. So
Yeah. I'm sure we can
some of the
figure
stuff he
something out
just
on that.
doesn't order. So
Yeah.
it's same with Sam down there. He's only got so much space on the shelves. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so if you haven't seen it yet at your local store, go to them, ask them, make sure that they order it because you will not be disappointed. For $60, it's a great pour.
Oh, that's pretty
Uh,
neat. I'm just watching the chat. Martin Cox says he just picked up Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B522. So that's kind of a dusty. It's been sitting around a little bit, huh? A
yeah,
B522.
he's sudden. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that is kind of but we're seeing more of those available. Unfortunately, Elijah
Yeah.
Craig barrel proofs. I've seen a lot of the 923s, 24s, and the 25s for this year are still listed
Yeah.
as available.
All right.
All
Sorry
right.
to disrail
Well,
you there, Roger.
no, no, no. I'm trying to get moving along here and not be delaying
So,
everybody. But what?
Jared says he saw it in Memphis today. Are you talking about this winter whiskey, Jared?
Ooh, I
We'll,
bet
we'll
you
see
that's
if
what
he
he's
was.
talking about.
Yeah, I bet that's what he was talking about. It's the winter whiskey.
Yeah,
But anyway,
if they have it, then let us know because we need to be getting some bottles of that because it's
yeah,
good stuff.
yeah. He says yeah. So what's next on the list, there, Roger?
Next on the list is from our friends at Buzzard's Roost,
Okay.
and they are doing a release tomorrow of a special limited edition Repeal Day bourbon to commemorate the end of Prohibition.
Yeah.
The most recent release is going to be a 2025 single barrel of 8-year-old bourbon, and limited will be availability, and it's going to be probably at the distillery.
Okay.
So if you're in Louisville and you have $150, it'll swing by there and grab it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it to Louisville tomorrow, so
Yeah, I don't think I will either. Maybe some other people in the chat will be able to do it. We've got somebody. Well,
Yeah.
no, he's in Chattanooga, so no, that won't work. So,
Well, I mean, he may run up there, real quick to Louisville, so you never know.
no. Well, our next bottle that we're going to talk about is for our friends down there in Texas, because they're very big in Texas and they love it. This is definitely an acquired taste. Garrison Brothers 11th edition Cowboy Bourbon. Have you seen any of it or had any of it before, Will?
I mean, I've seen some Garrison Brothers around, not a whole lot here. I saw it a lot when I went down to Texas, but I've never tried any of it actually. I can't say if it's good or bad.
Well, at 146.4 proof, I'm pretty sure it's a tongue number. It's going to numb that tongue, and you're going to have to wait a little bit before you know if you like it or not. But
yeah,
they do. Well, I love when they put it's only 10,000 bottles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of limited, I guess, but it has been getting some awards. Looks like double platinum at the Ascot Awards. So they must be pretty good.
Yeah, that's been a rough one for me on my palate to get used to, is that Texas whiskey, because the Garrison Brothers, especially because they always do it in the smaller barrels. It picks up a lot of that barrel char and the barrel influence, things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the water is they use in it, but I don't know. There's something about it. But again, there's a whole group of people that love this, and there'll be people chasing after it. So
do you know, are they pot still, or are they column still, or do you know?
I do not know, and it does not say on here. I thought it was a pot still distillery. At least it was, but they might have kicked it up and started to use a column, but I thought they were a big pot still.
Okay. Well, if anybody in the comments likes Garrison Brothers,
and if you know,
shout out. Yeah, and if you know,
let us know.
Or if this is something that you're going to be looking for, throw it out there if you're looking for it. Maybe somebody in the Bourbon Legends can help you out with that.
Yeah, if I remember right, each store probably gets 4 bottles. Comes in a little 4-bottle box and has a cowboy shield on it and the whole bit. So
yeah, Tom Black confirmed they're pot still, he says. So
okay, I kind of thought they were. I didn't think they'd move to a column. I know a few people have been trying to incorporate column stills into their production over the last few years. And our last story of the evening is Goose Island Stout. I know it's not a bourbon, and I know all those things, but every year it comes out the day after Thanksgiving on the Friday, and it is very popular, especially with bourbon drinkers. And this year is no doubt no different. The Cherries Jubilee and the Praline Stout are probably, of the flavored ones, are my favorite, but the regular base stout that comes in the little 10-ounce bottles now, I got a few of those now, because
so I've seen some people talking about this, and there were some guys talking about it at work the other day. And so I don't know much about them. I've got a couple of bottles, and I've brought them home, put them in the refrigerator like you do any other beer. So is it more of a room temperature that you want to experience that at?
65 degrees or 64, 65 degrees, which is a cave temperature, is what they used to have. So not quite our home temperatures. If you have the house set up, this thermostat set on 70, you want to put it in a cool spot, and you want to store it somewhere cool, or throw it in the refrigerator for just a little bit.
my wife keeps the heat down in the winter and the air down in the summer. So, I might have to go outside to warm it up. So,
There you go.
yeah. But I had one. So I had bought a couple of bottles, and actually one of them I had was from 2021, and I cracked it open a couple weeks back, just straight out of the fridge, and I drank the whole thing, one setting, and the flavor does evolve as it warms in the glass, but I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I know that one of our legends out there, Daniel Beasley, he became a big fan of this. Uh, they had a few of the ones and they cracked them open or were tasting and sampling too. And I think Daniel might or might not have bought a few bottles just to have so he has them throughout the year, because once those special editions run out, they're gone. You don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
And they're really, really good. And it'll actually sit in the bottle, and you can have it out there for you can store them for up to 5 years. Typically, I think most people say between 3 to 5 years you need to have it drunk by, because it's
Yeah.
not going to improve too much inside the bottle.
Well, and that's the label on when I picked the two up. I had one that's a 2021 and one that was a 2024, and I read the label on the bottle, and it said up to 5 years that it would continue to develop. And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and open the 2021 since it's got the age on it and see how it is. So, maybe here in a week or two, I'll open up the 24 and see.
Yeah, and
what
I'll
it's
slip you a
like.
10 ounce. I'll get you one of the 10 ounce bottles,
Oh,
because
awesome.
I might or might not have like four packs. So
Okay. So you've got a few of them, huh?
I've got a few. So, well, now I'm excited because we're going to have our guest on to now and see if we can get all this right. But the we went on a trip earlier this fall, and we went
Mm-hmm.
down to the Bourbon Trail, and we went a lot of different places, set up a lot of different interviews, and really didn't know exactly what to expect when we went to a lot of the places. And we were really pleasantly surprised with quite a few of them that we had never been to before, that turned out to be just a lot of fun, a lot of interesting talk. And I see a future on the horizon for some of these, because they're expanding, they're getting bigger, and they're changing some things with the way they do things. So it's
Mm-hmm.
fun to see that. So we have on tonight Lisa Wicker, who is the director of distilling for Whiskey Thief Distilling Company. And let me see if I can get this right, and if everybody can still hear us. I think they can.
I can hear you. Yeah, I hear
And
you.
this is we've got a welcome banner, the whole bit. I mean, we're ready for this. So let's see if I can get her on here and we can get this going. Okay, and
Well,
do
I'm
this.
here. Hey,
And
there you go.
there's Lisa.
Yeah. All right. Welcome.
Welcome.
You guys.
So thanks
So
for joining us on the Bourbon Legends tonight. Roger, you want to just jump into some questions, or do you want to let Lisa talk a little bit, or how you want to do this?
What have you got poured right now? I mean, you had some wine earlier, because we've talked about that. She's got two. Okay. Because and explain why wine's important if you're a distiller of bourbon or whatever,
First, I love the banner. I actually just bought today 100-gallon Hoga pot, like the one I originally started distilling on with Steve Beam at Limestone Branch. It came up, of all places, on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a present for all three of my distillers today. So
That's cool.
We just bought we need an experimental still. We have a little gin still. We have a Vendome pot, we'll talk about it in a minute. But this came up, and the ownership's like, you want that? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so he's like, go buy it. So I jumped in my truck and I drove 2.5 hours down to Southern Kentucky and bought the thing today. But
yeah, because that's a trek for you. That's a trek down the Limestone Branch. That's one we didn't make it to. Or was it somewhere else?
Limestone Branch is where I started distilling, but this was a different distillery. It was called Balance Distilling, and I did not know them, and I met them today, and they're fabulous, and they are moving, and they're building bigger, and bought this still and decided they didn't need it. But yeah, so I lucked out, and the owner was fantastic, Ken, and he went and grabbed a Christmas wreath for me so he could put it on there, and I could take a picture and send it to my distillers and say, hey, Merry Christmas.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
They're beside themselves. They're so excited. Yeah.
Hey, you know, that's the thing when you're in anything, you get a new toy to play with. It's something, you know, you got to have toys every once in a while, especially
Right.
in the distillery game,
Yeah.
because, you know,
Are 2 women and 2 men, but I told Kelly today, I'm like, who needs jewelry when we go
buy a pot still. Now,
She
is
and
it gas or how is it heated?
It's actually heated with propane currently, but I think I'm gonna wood fire it.
Oh wow.
Ooh, wow. Okay,
So
that'd be cool.
How challenging is it going to be to wood fire that through the whole process?
I think the way it's built right now, it looks like I'm going to be able to pull the propane elements out of underneath it, and we could actually go both ways. But, you know, for 7 years, now I'm back again. I was the senior consulting distiller for George Washington's whiskey at Mount Vernon. And so those are 5 wood-fired pot stills. And then 3 years ago, because of work and craziness, I resigned that position. Mount Vernon called me this year and said, can you please come back for a little while? And so I'm back on that project again. But I've always wanted like my very own wood-fired pot still.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
That's interesting. I've seen videos about the Mount Vernon stills before, and that's somewhere I would really like to go visit.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because you can regulate the fire just as fast as you can with any kind of other, like, you know, any other kind of energy source, right? Once you learn how to manage the fire properly, you can change, like, you know, if the still's hiccuping a little bit, it's, you know, after a while you get the experience and you're able to like fire the still so that you have a consistent flow coming out of the still. But yeah, it's all an art form, right? All of it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had Nobleton's on here the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and his is all done with steam, and it's pressurized. And I knowing and Will knowing a little bit about steam and under pressure, it's kind of a little bit. It works in a works at a power plant.
Yeah, power plant. Yeah.
And so he knows about it, and he went and explained how his is done. So you had the natural gas, you've got the steam, and you've got wood. And I know there's another group of folks that utilized hot water and use water to heat the pot. So
and right now, you know, we're in a phase of, part of the reason I was hired is to, you know, like shift, not change the essence of Whiskey Thief, but to, you know, shift into a little bit larger volumes and things. And right now we're working with a diesel fired boiler named Brenda, and Brenda, all fighting with Brenda right now. And then we've got a wood-fired boiler as well that we've got I put on a regular maintenance schedule, and we've got an Amish gentleman and his son that show up to do the maintenance on our wood boiler right now.
Nice.
Getting into the first questions I was going to ask you is, how did you get started in this? And we've already started with a few of those. So you want to give a brief history of some of the places you've been in the past? Everybody's going to know most of these places, but
it's been a crazy ride. Yeah, I've been making beverage alcohol now for 26 years. And I started out as a farm winemaker in southern Indiana, moved to Kentucky to build a winery. I was hired to build a winery down here. Did that 15 years ago. The winery went out of business because of a divorce, but I already saw the writing on the wall. I had already been working with Steve Beam in the evenings, and so Steve Beam hired me 24 hours after I resigned the winery. And it's been baptism by fire ever since. So I was at Limestone Branch about 3 years. Luxco purchased them. I was the number 2 man. I got let go in that, and got picked up by Ted Huber at Starlight. And I had known Ted and Dana Huber for years because of winemaking, right?
right.
Distillery. My mentor, Dave Sherrick, just happened to have a conversation with Ted, and Ted's like, I'm looking for a distiller, and he did not know I'd been let go at Limestone Branch. And Sherrick's like, I think I have someone for you. And Ted's like, who is it? He gave him my name. He's like, oh my gosh, I've known Lisa for years, right? So I distilled for them for a couple years. Thought I'd be there forever. They're two of the nicest people who walk the face of the earth. I had a lot of creative freedom there. And in fact, their tenure they just released for all my barrels. My handwriting was still, still on the barrels. And stayed there for a couple of years. Drew Pulsbean, Willett Master Distiller, lives here in Bardstown, is a good friend of my son-in-law's, who they moved here from Chicago, my daughter and son-in-law, 11 years ago, I guess. They got to be friends. Drew's like, Lisa, I've been meaning to call you. There's another project out there I think you're right for. So I left Starlight for that project. It was preservation. So I oversaw the building and preservation distillery in Bardstown. My personality did not mesh with the ownership very well. She was charged with a scandal a little bit after I left there. I went out on my own. I started Saints and Monsters Distillery Consulting because the distilling industry had just exploded at this point, right? And client was a group called Samson and Surrey, and they own Widow Jane. They own Widow Jane. They own Fused Spirits. They own Evanston, Illinois. They own Philadelphia Blue Coat Gin, Brand French Malt, Mezcal, Bago, and Tequila Ocho. I was hired at first as a consultant, then I was hired as vice president of distilling for all the brands, and I was spending all my time at Widow Jane. So I moved into, they offered me the president's position and master distiller there. So a lead distiller. So I took that, and the brand grew like a rocket ship. It was crazy growth. Heaven Hill. I was moved to Brooklyn. I was still distilling back here in Kentucky for the same project. I was distilling laying whiskey down at a little bit at Wilderness Trail, a little bit OZ Tyler. Oh gosh, where else? And then I was doing most of it. Then we settled in at Castle and Key, and we were running a one-of-a-kind heirloom that had worked on extensively. Heaven Hill's still releasing that whiskey. It's called Baby Jane. But so anyway, so I did that. Heaven Hill bought us. During that time, Alltech came in with an offer as CEO of Alltech Beverage in Ireland and Kentucky. If somebody had told me this when I started scrubbing tanks and floors, when I started cutting grapes, when I started, I would have never believed it. So I was CEO of Alltech Beverage in Ireland and Kentucky. Didn't suit my personality. They wanted me in a suit every day at headquarters. And first thing I did was like, no, I need my office in the brewery or distillery, not at headquarters. And I took work boots and jeans. And so anyway, had a great year there. Really loved the working in Ireland. I was working in Ireland a week a month. And but moved on from there. I got hired away by Garrett County Distilling. And so for 5 months, I was their consultant. They named me Master Distiller and fired me 11 days later in a pretty high profile firing. And then after that, went back out on my own and was distilling in California and South Carolina and Texas and a few other places. And then I ran into Walter Zasch, and I've known Walter. I did not know Walter for a long time. I knew his wife, Dana. She's a distillery architect with Luckett and Farley out of Louisville, but I'd actually originally hired the structural and process engineers from Luckett and Farley for the project in Brooklyn with Widow Jane. And so I ran into Walter last year at a whiskey summit. I don't think he had any intention of hiring me. I had no intention of going to work for him. And he's like, Lisa, I want you to meet this guy. Let's have dinner. Da, da, da. So Walter's sitting between the two of us. We're talking, and Walter looks at me and goes, I think I'm going to hire you. and he's like, and then later he calls me. He's like, I need to talk to you, right? And so I meet him in Louisville, and we talk for a few hours. And it's like, this might work, right? And so I go to work for him in May. I had a couple clients I needed to wrap up, and so I went to work for him in May and haven't looked back. We hired Ben Eves. Ben was trained by Jay Peterson at Kentucky Artisans, so fabulous set of skills, very intuitive distiller, and worked on all the Jeffersons and everything. Kelly Tennille Kelly she won a season of the Moonshiners, but she's also an insanely talented whiskey distiller, but she's a fantastic gin distiller. Crazy. Brandon, our overnight distiller, Brandon was at Wild Turkey and is now, so I've never had the luxury of having a distilling team that's been somewhere else. So they haven't just been at Whiskey Thief and learned just the Whiskey Thief culture. So I'm doing a lot less teaching than I've ever done and a lot more collaborating. And I'm so thrilled. I'm just so excited. We're able to accomplish so much right now. But yeah, so next thing I know, I'm at Whiskey Thief and sky's the limit, right? It's like, it's up to ultimately accomplish, but we certainly have the team to do it. And yeah, I've had a ball. 6 months, and it feels like I've been there in a good way. It feels like I've been there for years. I feel really settled in, and like Good. I said, even as we're talking now, I'm getting flagged, because the distillers work 24, during the week they work 24/7, and so I'm getting updates on what's happening with our boilers and the weather, right? Some winters.
Oh yeah, it all those things that impact you, especially with where your location is and everything like that, and
yeah.
That's the challenges you run into with this business. And
yeah, and we're all hands on. I don't do as much as I used to do, but I still worked on repairing a valve on the pot still a couple days ago, and been looking over Ben's shoulder as we're tearing down. My things I do well is tear down pumps, right? And so been working on a little bit, but on the most part letting the three of them do their thing.
It sounds like you've got a really good, diverse group of distillers there that bring a wide variety of skills into the business. So, sounds like it's going to be exciting times for Whiskey Thief coming up.
Yeah, and we've got some equipment that'll be replaced eventually, but now it's it's got its hiccups and everything, and everybody is got an insanely good sense of humor. In fact, I hope nobody ever sees our text message thread because it's it's a little out there. Walter Zausch, the owner, knows it exists, but I don't know that I'll ever let him see what everything is exchanged on that thread because, it's their frustrations. The language is a little spicy, and it's all good.
Well, and as we spoke before, that's the secret sauce. That's the piece that he maybe doesn't need to know. It's like just as long as it comes out, you get your barrels of bourbon, and that's all that matters. So
yeah,
but
I've just been blessed, right?
Well, we had a blast when we were there, and it was everybody was so accommodating, and showing us around, getting to go through all the different things, meeting with the various folks, having a finance background, talking with him, because the financial side, and then getting to meet you and talk to you because I knew of you through other people in the industry, and so it was a good day. It was a really good day, and then we did get the last few moments. We had that interview with Ed at the time, and that went off well. And I was surprised because we just sit down, started talking, and he just naturally filled in the gaps and went through a lot of it. So I suggest anybody, if you get a chance, go back to those 2 episodes we did at Whiskey Thief. You can get an idea about his vision of what the company is going to be going forward is and what it looks like. But I know your greatest thing right now is getting product to feed this company, and feed the thing. So what are some of those challenges you're dealing with?
Equipment limitations, but it's only because of time and trying to pull things together, right? Making sure that we're getting the right quotes, making sure we're getting things that are appropriate for the infrastructure that we have. Blowing up the growth, but managing the growth at the same time. There's literally so much on the table. I kept bugging Walter and Jeff Markowitz, our COO, who's fantastic. Jeff grew up in Brooklyn. He was on Wall Street for 30 years. And so the good fortune that I had to live in New York City for almost 6 years with Woodward Kane. I really enjoyed being around him very much. And then he had moved to Kentucky and with a tech company, right, with a startup tech company. And after he retired, he and Walter had already worked together. And so anyway, Walter ended up bringing him on. And the three of us, I kept bugging them. I'm like, guys, I need like 8 hours of your time. I need you guys to sit still and we got to talk, right? They planned a 1.5-day retreat in downtown Louisville, and we did that. And, you know, maybe at the evening we had a few drinks, but yeah, you know, just like there's so much that this team is so poised and ready to accomplish. And when I say team, I mean everybody in the bottling team. I mean, so during the high season, we have 65 employees. We're so
wow.
between Louisville and Frankfurt, we're so tourism and hospitality focused that, you know, between bartenders and barrel tenders and bottling team and, you know, retail and, you know, warehouse management and distilling, there's a lot of us, right? And so there's definitely a type. We're all very different people, but we're all, you know, for the most, you know, as far as everybody's friendly and warm and, you know, and we're allowed to be that way too. That's one thing I love about Whiskey Thief. So when Walter and Jeff were talking to me, Walter wanted me to talk to Jeff, and you know, and I've had some red flags after some episodes in my career, and we're sitting outside and 2 employees come up and just introduce themselves and sit down. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jeff and Walter are so approachable that these employees didn't hesitate for a second and came and introduced themselves to me, not knowing why I was there, who I was. And then the next thing that happened is a goat jumped in my lap. I think this is where I'm going to work. I don't have to wear a suit. I can come, you know, it's like, this is great. And so they talked to me and said, you know, will you come on? And so I agreed to come on as a consultant because I still had some other clients, and then went full time on October 1st. Yeah.
Well, and it's just a beautiful setting too. You know, that's like where I work at. I get to look at the lake every day. You know, it's just all that wrapped up into it makes it a wonderful place to work, right?
My truck tires hit the gravel every morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so blessed, right?
So one thing you were talking about there was the bottling line. It's my understanding that Whiskey Thief doesn't really distribute anything, right? So what are you bottling then?
Well, because we do have bottles for sale, like in our retail shop, in our gift shop, and then in our
Okay.
so the barrels that you thieve from, when they get to a place where they're kind of awkward to thieve out of any longer, they hit the bottling line, and we bottle the rest of the barrel. Because for efficiency and things, it just doesn't make sense for somebody to, you know, have to take 4 times as long to fill their barrel, hitting the char. We also have some special releases during the year, like we're getting ready for Charlie Brown Christmas, which will be a several-day event in Louisville where jazz musicians come in and do, you know, Charlie Brown Christmas. And so I just picked a Charlie Brown barrel today, and so that will be thieved. And also half of it will be bottled, and then we'll thieve the rest of it on site. And so we do have our gin. Our gin program is still, it's amazing in its infancy, but we're trying to work to blow that up a little bit because Kelly's such an insanely talented gin distiller. And this is a gin for bourbon drinkers, right? And our flagship, the Quintessence, it's not heavily juniper forward. It's just heavy on Kentucky botanicals, and it's really it's a sipping gin. But also she does seasonal gins, and I'm trying to get those in the pipeline where actually all 4 seasons are available all the time. We just put the final touches on the winter gin, and she was gracious enough to let me help her blend that out towards the end, and we were really happy with the product. And today I tasted it, and it tastes like Christmas, right? And that'll go to the bottling line here in a couple of days. So, but we also bottle other clients' products. So we have other clients that we work with their smaller, and then we bottle those for them. Sometimes we'll store their barrels, and then we do their bottling for them. And then also all of our single barrel program, Hannah and Jeff Chessman, or Hannah over the single barrel program and the single barrel picks. And so, you know, we have a pretty quick turnaround time on that. If somebody wants to barrel, sometimes we're, you know, within a week of getting that bottled.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we have a great practice of like bartenders, it's kind of out of the season right now. So now if they want to join the bottling team, they can, right? So some of our barrel tenders have joined the bottling team during this time of year. And one of my favorite things in the entire world is to cross-train a craft distilling team. So, yeah.
Nice. That brings value to everybody being able to do those different jobs.
It sure does. It keeps everybody from being pigeonholed, and it gives a lot of flexibility within the business as well.
Well, the main thing that I noticed with a lot of this is that there was there was just a lot of people, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going here and there and running around, and it was hard to imagine that you'd have enough time to do all this stuff. And
Just get it done, right?
What's that?
We share stuff coming and going in the very best way. You're crazy.
Hold on a second, Lisa. I think we might be getting someone to come and visit us here.
We get a special guest?
A special guest. And
yeah.
We'll see if he's available. And hold on. Let's see if I can add him.
Hi, Lisa! Oh, good to see you again, hon.
All right.
Goodness. All this talk about Christmas in a bottle. It made me want to jump on here while I was out making my rounds tonight, checking on all the good girls and good boys. Oh.
Santa, I just saw you on Main Street in Bardstown in the parade. I can't believe you. In Arkansas so fast.
I'm telling you, you're talking about. Well, I mean, how do you think I get all the way around the world in just one night, hon? I mean, it takes a lot of Christmas spirit and magic. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And later on, I'm going to show you that
not
sleigh.
Not only that, it takes a lot of Christmas spirits, guys. Girls, you hear that? Spirits. Christmas spirits.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, I tell you, it's good to see you. It really is. It's good to see all of you guys and gals out there. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I hope that I can make it down at some point and get some of this Christmas in a bottle.
I hope so. I sure hope so.
Man,
I'll show you his fancy sleigh that he uses now, and you'll know how we can get down there a lot easier.
A man can only live on so much cookies and so much milk. That's why I like when I'm over in Europe, they leave some adult beverages. So, occasionally a child will leave me some eggnog. I like that. It makes the night go by a lot quicker. So anyway, I just wanted to pop on and say hello to you. And a Merry Christmas to you. And in 20 days, I'll be coming back through, and I'll see you there in Louisville in 20 days on Christmas Eve.
Awesome. We'd love that. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, guys, I'm logging off. I've got more children, good girls and good boys to go see.
See you,
all right,
Santa.
Santa. Have fun.
Bye.
You never know who's going to be on the Bourbon Legends show.
I mean, you never know.
I mean, and I have a feeling the next 3 weeks, he just might pop in and out like he belongs here or something.
Yeah, everybody better be in your best behavior because Santa's watching all of us. So
I've done so many years, but I've never had Santa pop on. So
See, with us, you never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
So, boys and girls, the new magic word is eggnog. So you hear the word eggnog, and that's one of the things you got to take a drink. So, yeah. I was going to mention while Santa mentioned it, if you put in eggnog into the chat right now, starting right now, hold on, let me get it set up here, boys and girls. Make sure we get it going.
I can use chat.
Okay, I think I've got it going.
You need to unlock your iPad first.
I got it. I think I've got it going. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Roger. Yes, I see
Okay.
the hashtag on the bottom of the screen. So everybody needs to start putting in hashtag
Putting in
eggnog.
And this is the first selection of eggnog that we're going to make available. It's the Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog. Depending on how many entries we get here, we're going to give away at least one bottle, but we might give away two. You never know. So just make sure you put it in there, hashtag eggnog, and we're going to keep going along and talking with Lisa here. But it was good to see Santa. You know, he was looking pretty good tonight. He's been at this for about 3 or 4 weeks now. You don't realize he's got a lot of them elves he's got to keep in line. You know what that's
Yeah.
like with those distillers you work with. You got to occasionally keep them in line. So and I know Santa had a question, and I'm gonna get it up here. I'll pull it up here. So in the current whiskey and bourbon environment, with all the things and trying to find barrels and trying to find things to have for the thing, what are some of the biggest challenges you see that people need to address going forward?
Oh gosh, distilleries. This is interesting. I had this conversation tonight. Everyone that, oh gosh, yeah, it's been crazy, right? My attorney, after I got fired from Garrett County, calls everybody bourbon carpetbaggers, right? That came in as venture capitalists that love whiskey, that are in the industry because they love whiskey, that understand that they need to cut some of their SKUs right now, pull back a little bit. Everyone's going to be fine. Whiskey survived prohibition. Whiskey's not going anywhere, right?
Right.
I don't hate, and I even said this last year after I got fired from Garrett County, even if I was going to be part of the correction and not work in whiskey anymore, I didn't hate seeing it happen, because I'm like, you know what? The industry has to correct itself after a while, because so many people got into it because bourbon was sexy. It was a sexy place to put their money, right? Instead of saying, oh, I've got some traditional investments here. It's like, oh, I'm investing all these barrels, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it just got excessive. But anybody that's with the underlying brands, that's in it because for the love of the industry and the love of the business, money follows good whiskey. So I'm not going to be naive and say, well, there's not, like, we're not in it for the money too, but, because I like having a roof over my head, right? And
Oh yeah.
right, but whiskey's not going anywhere, right? It's going to correct itself. Industry's going to clean itself up. It's kind of I have an analogy for everything, but it's like the Beanie Baby craze, right? It's like all of a sudden whiskey was the Beanie Baby craze, and it just attracted a lot of people that didn't really love the Beanie Babies or love the whiskey, right? But
Yeah.
saw what they thought was going to be a quick buck, and and so I don't hate seeing the correction. It's difficult. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not painful and it's not difficult. We're all doing fine.
It's funny that you brought up the Beanie Babies. I was sitting at dinner this evening with a couple of guys I know, and one of them was talking about some legacy whiskey he saw, and he couldn't believe the price on it. And the other guys, oh yeah, that's just like Beanie Babies back when everything was all of them were high priced and everybody was trying to buy the stuff.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that I've heard that twice now tonight.
Yeah, that's it. That is interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, I think I'm not talking to anybody different these days, right? I'm not talking to anyway. Yeah, we're all still around.
Yeah, I know. The thing I found interesting this week, and that has not been around since like 2020, you see things start to thaw out a little bit, is everybody looks at Buffalo Trace, and Buffalo Trace from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most of the way into Sunday had Antique 107 available at the distillery at their price the whole weekend. And that used to, around here, there has been, I think one of our distributors said there were 6 cases total for the whole state of Arkansas that made it into the state last year. And to see that much of it out there and available, and you're starting to see it, and a lot of the other legacy brand stuff like that that's starting to come down. I think again, I think people are interested in a different aspect of it now. If you're into bourbon and you're into it, you're looking for an experience
Oh yeah.
and a good bourbon. And that's one of the things that, you guys do at Whiskey Thief with your location. Got a place downtown Louisville or right near the Whiskey Row in that area, which I think is going to go crazy over the next few years. And then the farm in Franklin County, right there near Frankfurt, is just a beautiful location. And I was gonna bring up I got a bottle, and this is one of the fun things you get to do. You get to bottle your own bourbon there. And this was a 9-year bourbon. And the unique thing I thought was it had a 64. Let me make sure I have that 64 24 12 mash bill. And I think that adds up. Yeah, that adds up. Okay. And it was just amazing because I hadn't seen that mash bill for a while and I couldn't figure out who had it and things like that. It doesn't matter. It was just good to see it there. And it was 9 years. It was aged out. It was so much fun pulling it out of the barrel, putting it in this bottle. And now I'm tasting it again. And
we're playing with mash bills right now. So the things I'm having the distillers do is run an 80-10-10 with malted rye and barley. And the reason why is because I know that mash bill inside and out. And as we're working on yields and process and everything, that's my baseline mash bill. But then recently, a couple had, and we're going to continue to do this program as well, they had bid at a silent auction on their own personal mash bill. And it was so much fun for me to sit down and let the customer pick the mash bill, right? And so we ended up with I can't remember the percentages, but we ended up with using a balance of caramel malt on it. That mash bill is so freaking good that Ben came to me. He's like, Lisa, can we run it again? I'm like, yeah, let's run that again. We'll circle 10 only because, like I said, we're still working on yields and things. But the fact that we get to have free reign on what we're doing because of the single barrel program, and we can have all these one-offs, right? And so that part of this job is fantastic. We're playing. I had a shift from yellow dent to white corn already. Where our yields are up, our beer percentages. We just broke every record yesterday on our beer percentage, and I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. But now
that's what we'll see.
Back to me, and so we're getting a purple corn, and like tomorrow we will not use a large amount of it. We'll use it as a flavor. It's a small amount for a flavor gain, but I'm requiring the distillers, including myself, to go home with the sample amount of that, and we'll bake cornbread. All of us will bake our own recipes of cornbread and see translate with heat and cooking, and a better idea before you decide to make a whole batch of whiskey out of it. Right? Is like this is gonna. There's a Oaxacan green out there that is so beautiful. It's this gorgeous emerald green corn, and I have tried it again, and it tastes like green leaves and cut grass, and it's nasty. And, and so we're going to try it again because we're going to try a Texas grown green versus what I had used out of Pennsylvania before and see if we can, like what the difference is. So we'll do the same thing. We'll get a sample of that grain. We'll all go home and bake cornbread. And then if we decide that we can make this, then we'll end up adding a little bit of that to the mash bill as well. So
you if Craig could come back on, he would be telling you the same thing because he went up and picked up. Because he might or might not. I don't know. He might know.
He makes donuts. He makes
donuts. Yeah, he makes donuts. That's what we call it. He makes donuts. And he might or might not have a 100-gallon donut maker that he's working on right now. And so, to feed that, you've got to have a lot of corn. And he drove all the way up to Missouri. He told his wife, well, I'm going to go up there and we're going to get like 1,500 pounds of corn. And she's like, what? Then, but knowing her and Mrs. Claus, she goes, all right, Craig, let's go. They got in the truck. They drove up. He brought it back. And his first thing he did is he ground some of it up and gave it to me and Will so we can make what?
Cornbread.
If it makes good cornbread.
And And Tom Black is right in the comments. He says, "What? What do you mean back on? Craig that was never here. Santa was here.
Santa
Craig
was here.
was here. Yeah,
I know, but see, I'm saying Santa would love to be here.
yeah.
Craig would love to be here. Santa didn't, I think he channels it sometimes, but it's one of those things where it is a funny thing because you're the third distiller that's talked about making cornbread. If it makes a good cornbread, then it's going to make a good bourbon.
Hmm.
So
And
Well, and
it's
that makes sense.
some of the people that
yeah,
I around with, I'm so fortunate. And it's something I learned when I came to Kentucky is the fact that the distillers, everybody collaborates, everybody has different opinions. And so because I come up from the craft ranks, but one of my dearest friends is Sherry Moore, and Sherry ran operations at Jack Daniels for 30 years. And I think the world of this, right? I'm so grateful she's become a dear friend. But she is consulting right now, guess where? At Castle and Key. And I used to distill at Castle and Key. I was distilling Widow Jane, like the baby Jane there, right? And so sometimes she's driving back to Tennessee and I'm driving home, and we have these hour or 2 hour long conversations on yeast and grain and like nutrients and enzymes and all of these conversations because she was locked into the Jack Daniels Nashville, right, and processed for so long, and then she perfected it, right? But now she's in the craft distillery, and like, okay, yeah, I can bring this to the table. And the fact that I can bring something to the table for Sherry is just remarkable, right? And yeah. So anyway, I love this business. I'm so grateful every single day. I wake up every day and like, thank you, God. I don't know how this happened, but let's get on with the day, right?
yeah. And I think you guys are fortunate being down there, having everybody close in Kentucky because everybody feeds off everybody else. It's not like we were talking to a few of them. If someone asks a question of another master distiller, they'll answer it. They'll be glad to answer it and tell them, hey, this is what we've had an experience with it.
There's so many people that I like maybe haven't talked to recently, but helped me through binds at certain points. Let me think off the top of my head, like Steve Nally. I was working on preservation. I had some water issues, right? Somebody's like, you need to talk to Steve. I had never met him before. I call him and he's like, oh my gosh, let me talk to you about this, right? And he talked you through the whole thing, and this is the person you need to talk to, and this person you need to talk to, and you need to look at this system over here. And there are so many of those people that have been in the wings for me over the years. It's just, I don't even have the words for how grateful I am, but
Yeah, because I know that we mentioned earlier, Mike Heist and then Pat. Pat's the king of yeast, as we call him.
I use
And
now, right now I use From Solutions yeast. They've got a wonderful 927 that can handle a lot of stress and still makes fantastic whiskey. So yeah,
yeah,
I
I might have seen a couple of boxes of that sitting at somebody's house. I don't know.
yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
so you can call Firm Solutions and say, hey, this is X, Y, and Z is happening. I haven't had to do that for a long time, but you got that. And then Mike, they ran 1,000 barrels for me early on with Widow Jane, and they didn't have the capacity to keep going. But I was buying whiskey from other distilleries because of the source and blended part of the project. And, I call him, I'm like, I know this is crazy, but can you like take some of these barrels from Tennessee and put them north, south, east, and west in the rick house, one of the rick houses? So, because I would have bought the biggest lot of barrels I've ever bought in my entire career were out of Tennessee, and they were 10 years old, but they were drinking like they were 4 to 6 years old. And I'm like, what am I with these? I mean, I got lucky that somebody else had turned them back in again, right? And had walked away from the sale
Right.
because. And I'm like, I'm going to take these because the price is right. And my mentor, Dave Sherritt, goes with me, right? And he does half the room. I do half the room. We agree to like be back to back as we're taking notes. There were only 2 samples in the entire room we didn't agree on, but I'm like, I'm buying all these lots. But Mike was able to put them in the rick house and do the placement on them, so I knew how fast they would accelerate. and start tasting like they were 10 years old. And so sure enough, right? And then I was able to move a lot of those barrels then into Castle and Key and get the right rick house placement for them, and, you know, flavors develop. So yeah, you know, all these people
Yeah,
have been
that's
amazing. All these people have been amazing.
yeah, that's the thing. We went on the Jim Beam tour and going through and tasting the bourbons from the different levels of the floors. And people then started to pick up and realize, wow, it does make that much of a difference. And I would go, yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we were, and like you said, most barrels don't get moved a lot. You know, most of them stay where they're going to be and everything's like that. But if you do have the ability to move them, you can really change the profile of that barrel. By in 6 months to a year, you can make that barrel a lot more one way or the other, depending on what you're wanting to get out of it. And I, yeah, always
I
found
think
it
it's just
interesting
really,
with wine and with bourbon.
yeah. I think it's just amazing that you knew the rick house so well to know exactly where to put each different barrel to get the result that you wanted.
I don't know how people think about, like, and this is not where we're going to get into this discussion about prior lives or previous lives, but there's mornings when like I said, I wake up, I tell God, thank you. It's like, I don't know how this happened. Let's get on with it. That I was a distiller in a previous life. Some days I wake up like, how do I know how to do this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I know how to do this, right? Because I don't really have, but I'm grateful for, I know it sounds crazy, like a crazy person, but you know, as I get older, it's like, you know, some of it's just instinct, and I don't know how or why that, you know, that happens. I'm grateful for it.
No, it
Yeah.
makes sense. It's part of the thing. So,
And now this
well,
house, we're going to go completely sideways. So I am sitting in this house. I can't tell you exactly where it is. You know, I'm in downtown Bardstown, and I got so lucky to get into this house. And I'll try to make a really long story short, but Steve Beam, after I wasn't working at Limestone Branch anymore, he's like, Lisa, he calls me. He's like, Lisa, we need to make up. I'm like, well, but you fired me, right? And he's like, yeah, couple drinks. Well, he invites, this is 8 years ago, so he invites me. His cousin lives next door. Jim Beam lives next door to me, and he said, Jim always has a party at the end of Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Please come, right? It's a bunch of my cousins and other people and everything. And I almost didn't go. And my daughter and son-in-law now live in Bardstown. They had moved here 11 years ago. They own the brewery. They own Mr. Tubbs cocktail bar. He had been I had a 5-year contract with Makers. He was executive Makers for 5 years. And so I didn't go. I was too tired, and I'm not going to make any food. And my son-in-law's like, hey, I've got all this food left over from Bourbon Festival. Just fix it and we'll take it. You can take it down there. So I go there and I'm like, Jim, if that house ever goes for sale, I probably can't afford it, but I'm really interested. And he goes, Lisa, it's going on the market tomorrow. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not. And so I meet the woman. He calls me, goes, I want you to live next door to me. And, you know, over the years, he's a great front porch drinking buddy. And I end up buying the house. He's 223 years old, buy the house. But it's got, Jeremiah Beam was born in here. And I don't remember if he was the second or third generation. The house was built in, the original part was somewhere between 1790 and 1800. This part of the house was built in 1803. And so Jeremiah Beam was born in the house. Fred I sit next to Fred at a dinner one night. This is years ago. And he's like, oh, Lisa, I know which house you're in. He goes, I used to deliver whiskey there. He said, when I got in trouble in college and I had to go to work for my Uncle Toddy, he goes, I would deliver whiskey to Mrs. Wyckoff. He goes, she wouldn't put her whiskey bottles in the trash. And he said, I'd have to go into her closet and I pull so, and this summer, Bourbon Women, I'm down. I've left. We had a Bourbon Women event at Whiskey Thief, and then the next thing, all the Bourbon Women from all the things were going to go to Maker's Mark for the rest of the evening, and so bus after bus. But I drove over, and I'm between buses, so I walk in and I see Peggy No Stevens and a couple of Maker's Mark people and Bill Samuels, and I always have to remind Bill. I'm like, Bill, I'm Newman's mother-in-law because my son-in-law had been his executive chef there. And he goes, oh, yeah, the distiller, what are you doing these days? And I tell him, he goes, Lisa, where do you live? And I told him, he goes, you're Mrs. Wyckoff's house? I said, I am. He goes, my mother and Mrs. Wyckoff were best of friends. And I'm like, I I've been in the house 8 years. I'm like, I did not know that. I said, he goes, yeah. I said, she was one of the card playing whiskey drinking women. And he goes, oh yeah. And he goes, they were all really beautiful and they were all really mean. So anyway, but I'm like, Bill, you've been in my house. He goes, Lisa, I've been in your house 1,000 times. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the whiskey, I feel it every day in here, right? And I need to remodel my kitchen. But I'm thinking if Marjorie Samuels was sitting in my kitchen, I don't know that I wanted to, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to
It's
change anything
amazing.
because of all the history there, huh?
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
You talked about being good front porch whiskey drinking buddies. Roger and I are good parking garage top floor whiskey drinking buddies. So
Yeah. We had, yeah, we had to celebrate the end of him ringing the bell for cancer and we went to downtown Hot Springs, and we looked up and we're like, that might be a good place up there. It had a whole view of the whole city, a big old parking garage. Just set up
yeah.
on the back of the truck and popped a couple of bottles, and
I loved
you
it.
know, it loved it. Yeah, we stayed in Bardstown the last time we were there, right down the road there, and it was through one of the roundabouts that a couple of the guys in our group thought you didn't have to go around; you could go over the roundabout. But little things like that. But
We
but
talked
no,
about
we had.
it on the Nelson County Facebook page. Yeah.
Yep, and we were there for when the craft fair was going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the craft fair thing, and yeah, so it gets busy. But we always laugh about it because growing in my past life, working, going out to California so much, and you talked about you know porch drinking bourbon buddies and how out there all the winemakers would all get together and be sitting out in somewhere, and you walk into a couple of the bars and be like, well, that's yeah, that's who it is. And it wasn't anything to walk into a place. And I know that's what it used to be like in Bardstown, is you'd see those people at dinner and everything like that. And I think it still goes on a little bit, but not as much as it used to.
It does.
But so getting away from all the industry talk and the work talk and all those, so what's your go-to bourbon? They're gonna tell me to ask you that.
Oh my gosh.
Or is there one?
There isn't one. There isn't one. I used to go through like different tears. So like I go through this thing where all I was going to drink was Beam and know all their products. All I was going to drink was Heaven Hill and know all their products. And then as things like shifted and evolved, as I got to know people in the industry, it really is more about the mood of the day, right? There's still days
Yeah.
that I go into a bar and grab a shot of 101 and a Miller High Life to wash it down with, right? And then there's other days that you're looking for the most exquisite thing that you can find, right? It really don't have an answer. It's like I've got 3 grown children, and I've got 3 fantastic children-in-law, and I've got a 6th grandchild on the way, and it's like asking me what my favorite one is,
Exactly. Yeah, we got
You love them all, but for different reasons. And
We've
one
gotta
day
go-
you might be mad at this one and like that one better, but the next day you're going to be back loving the one you didn't like yesterday. So.
And I know that's kind of a generic, wishy-washy answer, but it's the truth, right?
it's the truth.
Yeah.
If you said one over another, because it sounds like, looking behind you, there might be a few bottles back there, and we talked.
The cabinet.
We talked.
Over to the side. Over there. There's whiskey in every single room in this house, and I keep trying to corral it into one room. And I don't have near the collection that people would expect me to. It's just that I have it, like what I love. There's some things I need to replace that I'm out of. But, I'm looking over like to the right. I still have a bottle of Baby Jane over there that's Heaven Hill released. That was my project for almost 6 years. And a bottle from Mount Vernon. There's a whole bunch of Mount Vernon bottles up here. I've got a Weller that was gifted to me on a birthday by a dear friend. I have a Widow Jane Vaults that's 15 years old. I have a Whiskey Thief over here that I really like, rye that I really liked a lot. And so, yeah, it's everywhere. It just depends on 100% depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah, when you first got on, you said that if the master distiller's in your phone, that you have a bourbon for him. So,
Yeah, and like tonight I'm Evergreen, right? And met a friend up there, and I'm looking through the list. Well, I just happened to Jason Bronner came to Whiskey Thief on Tuesday night with his wife to listen to music. And I'm like, okay, Buzzard's Roost, thanks, right? And so tonight I drank the Buzzard's Roost cigar because I'm like, I don't know what I'm like. Oh, I just saw Jason, so I'm going to drink the Buzzard's Roost tonight, right? Like, yeah, that's how.
So, what you just said there, they came out to Whiskey Thief to hear live music. I think this is a good opportunity to kind of talk about the atmosphere and the ambiance that's there at Whiskey Thief and what makes it special.
Yeah, and so I joke about Walter partially hiring me because I'm, a solid distiller, but I also think that Walter hired me because of music. So we were talking about something like, well, I can't come out next week because one of my hobbies is going to concerts by myself. And I'm like, well, I can't come out next week because I'm going to 3 concerts next week. So usual week. And he goes, I think this is going to work out, right? And so Walter's love of music is incredible. And so at the farm, we have live music, not this time of year, because we just closed the food truck and it's cold, and we still love to have visitors. We're going to give you an insanely warm welcome, and we're going to feed from the barrel and do all the things, but we don't have the live music right now, and we don't have the food truck. But in Louisville, we still have the live music. It's running like Thursdays through Sundays. And then we have like Charlie Brown Christmas coming up. We just had Mike Stern on Tuesday night, which was a night. Mike Stern was is a famous guitarist. He played with Miles Davis for years. I'm old enough that he played with Blood, Sweat, and Tears as well. And so he played Tuesday night. We just had Bill Frisell out. Walter and I just went to New York City to a music festival that Walter is one of our philanthropic projects for Whiskey Thief is that we help support the Musicians Treatment Foundation. So they have provided up to $4 million worth of surgeries for carpal tunnel and shoulder and hand surgery. So musicians can continue to play, right? And so we went up there because I had a connection with a couple of musicians that were big Widow Jane fans and would come out to Widow Jane and have a couple drinks. John Leventhal, who's Roseanne Cash's husband and been a studio musician for years for Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. And so he and I got to be friends. And then Sean, who's a drummer for Saturday Night Live since 1991, and we got to be friends. And so anyway, it's really interesting. I was like, because they're asking me like, Lisa, why are you back here in New York? And I'm like, because I'm with a different whiskey brand. It's just a total coincidence, right? Total coincidence that I'm back out here again. And so, yeah, and so that part has been fantastic. But Walter's got a real ear for music and real passion for music, and has, definitely made the friendships and connections he needs to make to book these incredible artists. And he's, got a real soft spot for people from Kentucky. And we had the Whiskey Thief Fest 2 months ago, I believe, and it was all bluegrass, and some, Grammy-winning musicians were playing, and yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, we didn't experience any of the live music while we were there, but I can see where that would be a great venue just to sit around, thief straight out of the barrel, talk with your friends, and just have a blast. Spend all day.
It was my first Whiskey Thief Fest, but Michael Cleveland was like the headliner. And Michael Cleveland, you have to look him up, but he's an insane bluegrass musician. He is a player. He's blind, but he's a Grammy Award winner, right? And he's on a live stage with a backdrop of corn, right? And the distillery behind it.
Yeah, we loved it there. I think it was funny is that they had a fire pit out behind the garage. And they don't just burn the barrel. They put the whole barrel in there, let the rings fall down. So there's the rings from the barrel laying in there after it's burned all up. And I'm like, Craig goes, you don't have to break it apart, just burn the whole thing. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
And
And
the bottom starts to burn. I love it. Yeah, it's like crazy fun. Yeah.
yeah, because there's a couple other groups that come out there and they've taken videos and stuff like that, and been at some of the music festivals, and we're going to tag some of them in some of the things we do later on. But yeah, it's just an interesting environment, kind of fun to kind of go to. Um, the other question I was going to ask you real quick: do you have a favorite cocktail, or is it really dependent on the season?
Oh gosh, same thing. Probably Black Manhattan is one of my favorites, right? Yeah, I have a few things that are favorites, but yeah, big on just a simple highball, especially through the summer, right? Great whiskey, a little bit of soda water, a little bit of lemon peel. Um, yeah, and my daughter and son-in-law own Mr. Tubbs Cocktail Bar here in town. Their sours are fantastic. I love a good whiskey sour. I love a really
See,
good
hold on. What's the place they own?
Tubbs.
Mr. Chubb's Cocktail Bar. So Mike Brock, look that up and throw that into the chat for us. So we'll put their website out there too.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Tubbs laundromat downtown Bardstown. And when they first moved from Chicago here 10 years ago, I guess, or 11 years ago, we pushed my oldest grandson past in the stroller, and she's like, Mom, I'm going to buy that building. I'm thinking from like a distillery's perspective, I'm thinking EPA and dry cleaning chemicals. And like, oh my gosh, is the square footage worth all of that, right? And I'm working in New York. She calls me. She's like, Mom, we bought that building. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so she kept the name Mr. Tubbs. That's where the name comes from the laundromat. And
That's
another,
pretty cool.
yeah, another friend of mine, Noah Rothbaum, he's a whiskey writer and well known, he's written some books. And anyway, so Noah's out from New York, and I'm having dinner with him and with Nicole Austin and a couple people, and Todd Leopold, right? And let me drop some names here. And
We love it.
Noah's like, man, Lisa, Bardstown's really changed. He goes, I was at this bar and it reminded me of Brooklyn. And he goes, but it was still had a Kentucky twist to it. It felt very Kentucky. I said, I know that bar. Yeah. And
Hey,
so,
Roger, we got some people that want some eggnog. Or
They
do
want
you
some
want to run the
eggnog.
giveaway? Do you want to run the giveaway now, are we going to do another one, or what's the plan?
Well, let me see. Let's see.
I don't know. We may not have enough entries. We may just have to cancel the whole thing.
Well, I want to make sure everybody's put in eggnog in there. Hashtag eggnog.
Hashtag. We're
Um,
supposed to be drinking every time we do that too. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. Damn it.
this is what happens when Craig is not here. Things just go awry, and
Well,
you
there's things that he knows how to do that I don't know how to do. And one of those might be I have the giveaway set up, but displaying the giveaway might be a different question.
Okay, so let's talk about something while Roger tries to figure out how to do that. So, I mean,
Keep talking.
I don't know. I'm at loss for words at the moment for a good question. So, do you have any questions you want to ask us, Lisa?
oh my gosh.
Let me put you on the spot there.
What's your favorite Tuesday night pour?
Ooh, a Tuesday night pour. Let's see. Right now, this time of year, a good Tuesday night pour is probably a Green River Foolproof.
That's a good one.
I mean, that's a really good one. If I don't feel like getting quite that proofy, maybe a John J. Bowman.
Oh, in my opinion, the most underrated distillery in the United States. Yeah.
You just made friends with a few people in our group. Yeah, the John J. Bowman single barrel is pretty good. I happened to get the batch 4 of the cast strength this year, which apparently is like very difficult to find because people were going nuts for this year, and it is amazing. It's an amazing.
When I first started at Mount Vernon, Joe Dangler always came in for the bottlings, right? And he had been the master distiller at A. Smith Bowman. And then after that, Brian Pruitt, and Brian's now working in Frankfurt. But Brian, I mean, you know, Harlan is well deserved to get all the attention that he does, but Brian Pruitt is in charge of all the distilleries outside the U.S. And so he oversaw the restoration of a French cognac plant, and it's gorgeous. And now he's working with an Irish. I haven't caught up with him recently, but he's working with the Irish distillery on the northwest of Ireland and doing the restoration there as well. There's so many interesting stories in this business that people don't even know, right? But A. Smith Bowman's one of the most underrated whiskeys, in my opinion, or overlooked whiskeys, in my opinion.
Yeah. This one, unfortunately, I don't have the A. Smith. I've just got the John J. I haven't been lucky enough to find the A. Smith yet, but
there's an A. Smith on the front row here on my front.
Oh, well, we'll just have to come for a visit and have a pour on the porch then.
Yeah, on the porch pour.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls, you're going to be disappointed, but I'm going to be able to run the raffle, but I'm not going to be able to show it on TV, live on TV, because that's one little secret of the StreamYard that Craig did not show me. He showed me how to get it collected. So we have 16 entries.
Do you want
Has
to?
everybody got their entry in? Huh?
Do you want to talk just a little bit more and see if maybe T can bail us out? Maybe T's can text you what we need to do on that since Craig's busy.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. It's probably easier because we're not talking about a $1 million bottle. We're talking about a couple of bottles of eggnog. So,
you know, do whatever you want to do. I trust you, Roger.
Well, I can tell you this. I'll give you the full gambit. You know, I'll show you the and the whole bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
One of my fishing started this tradition with me that we finish every fishing trip. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. It doesn't matter whether it's April or August. And George is like, Lisa, we got to go drink some eggnog, some Heaven Hill eggnog.
After every fishing trip?
Every fishing trip. That's how we end it. Yeah. After every night on a fishing trip, he's like, Lisa, we got to drink some Heaven. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And his wife's like, I'm so grateful you drink that. I'm like, I didn't know I had an option not to drink it.
Mr. Chilwell, Rocko, and Craig have made homemade eggnog this year and have been aging it for the last month.
I've got 3 quarts in the refrigerator that I mixed up back in like July.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm letting it age. I'll probably kick it out here pretty quick and start drinking that eggnog. And Mike Brock's getting on to us because we're not drinking when we say eggnog.
Oh, so Mike, we're busy. My dad says not to drink as much while I'm on the stream. So I'm torn here. Should I listen to Dad or Dad? This is to you. Cheers.
There you go. Cheers. So Roger, go ahead and roll that. I'll talk about what I'm drinking. I'm drinking this Whiskey Thief rye that we got while we were there. It's a 95.5 rye. It's aged 6 years. And I'm going to tell you, this is a phenomenal bottle. 114 proof.
I don't know.
This is one of
ryes. Is the caramel bomb? We've got so many ryes that are caramel bombs, and I don't know 100% why that's happening.
Yeah,
Kevin Holleran, are you still there? Are you still here, Kevin?
Yeah.
Or did you get a fire call?
Let's see. Is Kevin here?
Kevin Holleran.
I'm going to kill my camera for a minute because I'm going to have to go plug in and recharge here a second before I lose you. But I'm going to take the camera off and then I'm going to run plug in and I'll be right back. I'm still on audio, so.
Got it. Kevin, he's still here? Kevin was the winner of the first bottle. Kevin Holleran.
Let me see if I could tag him. I mean, he's showing up as still being in the chat when I tag him, so we'll see.
Yeah, Kevin Holleran, you've got the first bottle, and I know where you're at. You're in lovely St. Louis, and as long as he's not on a fire call, I'm going to give a fireman a little bit of a leeway. We've got 2 firemen here, so he might be busy doing stuff like that. So we're going to draw again. So we're going to give away 2 bottles tonight.
I can't see it, so I don't know if I need to slow down or not. Who is it?
It is
Who is it?
Mike Brock. Mike Brock.
Well, that's so rigged. That is so rigged.
So rigged. I don't know what you, but that's rigged.
Yeah.
That's
I'll tell
just
you
rigged.
what.
Oh wait,
Is Mike Brock still in the house? Is Mike
Brock?
Still in the
Yeah,
house?
he just was there.
Well, he may have
So, Mike,
left already.
We've got a bottle of Pennsylvania for Dutch for Mike and for Kevin Holleran. Guys, we're going to be doing this. We're going to have other bottles to give away as we go into the next week. Just didn't have a lot available this week because the bottles aren't in hand, and we're not going to give them away unless we have them in hand.
Yeah.
And we might have some from our guests next week, those type of things. One of the other things I'll bring up that we need to remember is we have we're getting closer to 500 subscribers. And so we need to be thinking about that. So if you know anybody that hasn't joined, make sure everybody's hitting that like and subscribe button out there. And that way we get up to 500. We were trying to get there by the end of the year. It might be close. We'll keep it going. Maybe with Lisa being under tonight, she's going to throw us over that 500 subscriber window. But we're going to get there, and we want to make sure that we have that. The other thing I was going to mention is we have and let me see if I can bring this up and bring us all on stage on it. Hold on.
Yeah, there we go.
We are giving away a bottle of, and Lisa, hang on there. We're giving away a unicorn of all unicorns. In it, you have to do your Venmo, and there's the Venmo up on the top left-hand side. It's also on our Discord. You get 1 chance for $5, 3 chances for $10, and 10 chances for $20. And this is a Booker's Jimmy's batch, which is a batch 4 of 2024 last year. It's signed by Fred No. It's signed by Jimmy Russell. And then, of course, it's signed by the most important person, the longer-term employee at Jim Beam than Jimmy Russell. At Wild Turkey, Jaretta. Yeah. Jaretta signed the back of the bottle. So we have a bottle signed by all three.
That's fantastic.
So we're giving that away. That was one of the things I was going to tell you was our luck when we went to back to Wild Turkey. We pulled up and we thought maybe Jimmy will be here, maybe he won't. We're pulling the parking lot, and there he is pulling up in his Lexus. He's waving at us and all this stuff. We're all jumping out of the car and having a good old time like a bunch of kids and running up to see Santa Claus. And I'll tell you what, the man is like on a dime on the different things. And we had a challenge coin that we gave to him that we had inscribed on the back. It said on there, "Do not change a damn thing." And he looks at us and he goes, "You know who said that?" And we said, "That'd be you, Mr. Jimmy. You said that. Don't change a damn thing." Yeah. And he was so fun and engaging, and we had a blast. We got him to sign it and everything, and then we asked Jaretta to sign it, and she was just, "Why do you want me to?" "Well, you're a longer employee than him." And she starts laughing, and
that's
so and he handed her a pen, and it was funny. So
that's
but we had it was a good time. Those are the stories you get when you go down there and you run around and you get to know these people, and knowing he gets there in the afternoon, and that there's people that work for that distillery that work just because Jimmy's there. You know, that's the only reason they show up every day is because, you know, they're going to see Jimmy and talk to him. And that makes it fun. But
yeah, you were talking earlier about, you know, all the community and all the people that you can reach out to and ask questions and bounce ideas off of. And that's one thing that I found, you know, Roger and I met, it's almost 3 years ago now?
Yeah, 3.5 years ago.
Because we were going on a barrel pick up to Backbone, and that's where we met, was at that barrel pick. And so now through that, I've met all these other wonderful people, and we've got a great Discord group, and we sit around on Tuesday nights and we drink, bourbon and have a good time. And, Tom Black says you always have to end the night on a wild turkey pour. So everybody's got their Russells or wild turkey or whatever to pour on at the end of the night. And we all just kind of tell each other stories and lies. And when somebody's got a bad day, we're all there for each other. So that's an amazing thing about the whiskey community.
Hold on one second. I think somebody else is going to be joining us. I don't know if he might. Hold on.
Whoa, what do we got?
Oh,
Hey,
Hey.
Lisa.
Where you been all night?
Man, I tell you what, I've been out and about. Has these guys treated you well tonight? I hope
They have been fantastic. Yeah.
Good. No, I mean, I see they've kept you in here for a long time. I don't know whether you're telling great stories or they're telling big lies. I don't know which.
It could be both. Can it be both?
We're talking about front porch pours. Yeah.
This is the first drink I've had like in, I don't know, 2 weeks or something.
Hold on. Eggnog.
Oh, is that the word tonight?
Eggnog.
I didn't know we were doing that after last Wednesday. I don't know if they told you, but we did somehow this show has caught on to doing a little catchphrase that you have to drink. And last week was turkey. Since it was the day before Thanksgiving, we just did an impromptu live, and I don't know. I think we all kind of made turkeys of ourselves. So,
well, now I had to ask for a friend because somebody asked if anybody was hungover Thanksgiving morning, and I asked for a friend. Could you be hungover if you were still drunk when you woke up? I don't.
The universal question, right?
Yeah.
It may have been the hair of the dog for me. I don't know.
Well,
I wasn't hungover. I was just tired, but I'd been working a lot too. So.
Well, the week before it was Woodchuck, and that was with our friend at Heaven Hill. She's the
the
but you didn't know the Bourbon Barbie, or what was her stage name?
Jennifer Gray.
Jennifer Gray. You didn't know Jennifer Gray works in Bardstown, do you?
Yeah. Were you talking to Sydney?
No, Jennifer Gray. She works at Heaven Hill.
Oh, I don't know.
She's one of the tour guides at the new Heaven Hill Springs distillery.
Because Sydney Jones is, she was one of the instrumental people for the new distillery at Heaven Hill, and I'd worked with her when she was at Few Spirits when I was Widow Jane. It was all the same portfolio. And
we met her too.
She actually lives in my old spot here in Bardstown. She's a couple.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she lives actually at that distillery. It has an address at that house there because
100%.
She was telling us how many hours she was putting in a day, and it was
100%. Yeah.
But,
I liked the story. I was listening on my way home about the house that you're in, Lisa. That was that's quite the story. A lot of lineage of whiskey makers have lived in that house.
I feel fortunate. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if anybody ever may have drank eggnog in that house.
There's been some eggnog consumed since I've lived in the house. For sure. Yeah, I'm actually going to ask Bill Samuels to see if he would be interested to come by and talk to me some more about the house, because he was telling me all kinds of things, like the people the woman that lived in the house before I did. She bought the house when she was in her 50s. She died in the house at 104.
Wow.
She drank whiskey every day. And Marjorie I found from Bill Samuels that, his mother was a friend of hers, but then 2 houses down, Mrs. Talbot lived there, and they would signal each other with the window blinds in the morning for coffee and in the evening for whiskey.
We know Mrs. Talbot. We know that. Yeah. That's pretty
This
funny.
story runs along the lines of there at Jack Daniels, as well as I'm trying to think of the lady's name who had the
Mary
house there.
Bobo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Mary Bobo. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Mary
And
Bobo.
so, I don't know if you heard the part that Sherry Moore is a very dear, close friend of mine, and Sherry ran operations at Jack Daniels for 30 years.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and yeah. So she still lives in Lynchburg. She comes up she comes up every week now to work at Castle and Key, but she drives up Monday morning and then drives home on Thursday afternoon. So,
Nice.
yeah. And we traveled. We judged World Whiskey Awards together. So last year we went to London with Sarah Havens, who's the Caskex whiskey director, and then we spent another 9 days going through Scotland and doing like a really heavy duty whiskey trip. And so this year we all got invited back to judge World Whiskey Awards in London again. So we're going to do that, and then we're headed to Portugal to do a deep dive on port and cork closures and that sort of stuff.
Yes. This really sounds like I may be in the wrong profession.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
sounds like I should be joining you guys because I'd love it. But
Yeah, well,
I-
we were so fortunate because the deal was, since we're all into whiskey and we love our job so much, that no shopping, right? We're no shopping unless it was a whiskey shop, a pub, or a distillery, right? And so,
Mhm.
and all three of us put our favors together that people have given, offered us things over the years. And so we end up in a person's house for dinner. We end up in a couple of Rachel McNeil's distilleries. Anyway, so we're doing all these fantastic things. But in the industry, there's an industry newsletter that comes out every day. And the person that authors that used to be the CEO of Brown Forman, of Sazerac, right? And Mark Brown.
Yeah,
And-
we get that. We get that newsletter every day.
Well, here's the story. I gave you the punch already. So the only shop we go into, we land at 8:00 in the morning. The pubs don't open until 9. We drop our bags. It's like, okay, we got an hour to kill till the pub open. And we go into one shop, and the young woman there, she's like, "Where are you all from?" And we're like, Kentucky, Tennessee. And she said, "We're in Kentucky." And I said, "Bardstown." Sarah said, "Louisville." And she goes, "Oh, my uncle moved to Louisville when he was 20 and he still lives there." I said, "If I'm not being too intrusive, what does your uncle do?" "He's in whiskey." I said, "Who's your uncle?" "Mark Brown." The only shop we picked, and Mark Brown was her uncle. And so Sherry got a nice note from Mark the next day. Say, "Hey, I heard you and some friends are
Yeah,
Lisa, you were talking about, like, you don't know. Some days you just wake up and you're kind of like, I don't know why I know this. I just know it. I mean, obviously it's something in the water up there or something. It's just like there's so many connections and so many, little facets that
yeah.
and that's one reason why we started doing this show, and we've learned that having guests on and everything, it's just like we could sit here and talk about whiskey all night, but it's all these little other connective paths that's just fascinating. I mean, it's
You guys
just
come back. I'll take you on the back roads tour, because one of my favorite things to do is take people out past Athertonville, where there was an old Seagram's plant, but before that it was Atherton Distillery. And Abraham Lincoln's father worked at that distillery because his boyhood
Wow.
was just a short walk. And so I take people past Zach Cooperage, because the Cooperage is in there now. Then we go by Lincoln Boyhood Home. We go to Hodgenville, where Lincoln was born, right? Have a hamburger, hit the Top Hat dive bar, drive out to Lincoln's Boyhood Home, see Peterson Farms. Peterson grows for Maker's Mark and a little bit for Sazerac. They grew for me at Widow Jane. Log Still Distillery. But anyway, I like to take people on the back route. And then Gethsemane, where the French Trappist monks are, is just 15 minutes from here. And there's no way to get into the back cemetery unless you're a monk. But in the front cemetery, it's a who's who in distilling. It's the Potters and the Dance and the Willets, and because the Ant family had donated all that land to the Trappist monks in the 1840s. So yeah, anyway, I like to take people on the back road.
That would be a great tour. I would love to do that.
It
Yeah.
would be
Yeah, I think
fun.
we got to do this.
It's not
I think by the time like middle of the year next year, if we wanted to, we could have something to do every weekend or every day around Kentucky, Missouri. We're making so many friends in this industry. It's crazy. We're either going to have to become professional alcoholics or something. I don't know.
No, professionals, not alcoholic. This is
Just
professionals.
professionals. Yeah.
Professionals, yeah.
my head, so I appreciate it.
You know, I thought it was funny. I was talking with another gentleman today who I called to try to get another guest on our show and everything like that. And he goes, "So you know all this stuff and these different things. So what part of the industry do you work in?" And I told him, "Well, I worked in banking before, but that's about it. I didn't, you know." And he's like, he goes, "You really need it," and he goes, "We need to talk." So, you know, I'm like, you know,
Roger
but
may be
I'm
coming out of
retired.
retirement. He may be
No, I'm
coming
not
out of
coming out of
retirement.
retirement. I'm going to be getting a hold of David Shurick. Is it
Yes.
how you say his name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got
Shurick.
David's contact
Yeah,
when we
we
were
need to get
there
a hold of David. That's
at Whiskey Thief.
Lisa's mentor. We met him.
I met him 14 years ago at a spirits judging. I wasn't supposed to be one of the judges. I had just moved out. It was 15 years ago, I guess. I'd moved out of winemaking into distilling, and a snowstorm hit, and they were going to do the judging in Louisville because it's a central location, right? And it's whiskey. And they called Steve Beam, and Steve was going to be a judge. And they're like, "Do you know anybody else that could possibly judge?" He's like, "Lisa judges, like, you know, wine competitions and things, and she's got a really great palate. She's just started working with me." They're like, "Tell her to come." And I met Dave that night. I met Dave Pickerel that night. I met Sherrick that night. And so Sherrick and he was so kind to me. And then, you know, we kept talking. We had lunch a couple times. And then, you know, I asked him, like, you know, will you be my mentor? And he said, yeah. And that was 13 years ago, I think. And I, you know, like even yesterday, I talked to him for an hour. But yeah, he's hard on me. Like, he came up to New York for one of his projects, and he goes, you know, he's still got Boondocks brand and stuff, and he came up to New York because he's working on his project. And I show him Widow Jane, and Widow Jane was a disaster area when I got there, and so I'd gotten so much accomplished, but there was still so much more to go. And he looks around, he goes, "Well, that's great, but what are you going to do about all this other shit?" Like, I'm working on it, but he's pushed me hard, and I'm grateful for I'm so beyond. And I told him years ago, I'm like, "I know what you charge, like, for your consulting fees, and there's no way I'm ever going to be able to repay you." And he said, "Lisa, it's a little bit cliche, but pay it forward." And so I have absolutely tried my best to pay it forward every opportunity I've had. But yeah, he's still, you know, we had a pretty, like, you know, lively debate yesterday on some stuff, because now I know where to push back. Right now I know I've got some down, so, you know, so I'll push back a little bit. But yeah, he's been a godsend. I don't know what I would have done without him.
This is one of those bad things, like, you know, when we planned our trip there in October, we had such a tight schedule. And then, you know, we go there to Whiskey Thief and we're talking to you, and then we talk to David, and he's like, "Well, why don't you guys just come over and have some drinks?" And we're like, "God, that would be great, but we have to be somewhere else."
Right.
And, you know, he's talking about all the collection he has and all this stuff, and it's just like, you know, it's the stories that and the people you meet and everything. It's just, you
Well,
know,
I'm guaranteeing you, he's
it's a great
2,000
industry
bottles.
and a great, you know, hobby for us as well. So
Yeah, he's seen crazy stuff. I mean, you know, I'm not going to go into all the details because it's a lengthy story, but, you know, I call him, I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "Danville." I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, and I said, "Can you come with me? I've got a crisis." Right. And so he drove up here, an hour up here, gets in my truck. I drive him the next 2 hours, and I'm telling him what's happening. He's grilling me on these. I mean, it's one of my best memories, but he's grilling me on these questions, right? He's like, "Okay," you know, I'm telling him what the little disaster is, and he's like, "Well, what about this, and what about this, and what about this?" And then we get in there and we walk into the distillery that's running some whiskey for me, and I taste the whiskey because they called me and like, "Lisa, we got a problem. And so I taste the whiskey. Sherrick tastes the whiskey. We both start laughing because we're like, guys, this is heirloom corn. It's not yellow dent. Yeah, and we had I had been sweating, but I'm thinking I am getting fired from this client. I'm getting fired by this client. And Sherrick's like, did you do this? Did you do this? I'm like, yeah, I did that. Right. Like, anyway, but yeah. And so we've got some really great memories together over the years. And he went with me to Cotton Hollow to buy a bunch of Dickel barrels at some point. And, anyway, he's always had my back. But.
That's cool. Well, guys, I'm going to hop off of here. Believe it or not, I am tired.
No, I don't know what you've been doing all night. I mean,
you've been laying around. I mean, it's not like you've been on the show or anything.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything. I mean,
we saw Santa tonight, but I mean, you were just who knows where you were.
Well, I'm the Bourbon Santa. That you must have talked to the real guy.
The real guy, yeah.
Yeah, we did. That's who we talked to. And he was telling us we got to work on you getting on the nice list. You slipped into the naughty list.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no! If anybody's going to be on the nice list, it's going to be me.
He did say something about sometimes he gets left eggnog.
Oh, eggnog! There we go. One last pour.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, I'm glad that I got to actually see you as my ugly mug instead of the other good-looking guy. Sometimes you've got to hide behind, the beard and the hat to actually look good. I wasn't really planning on jumping back on here, but I am. I'm all red-faced from taking makeup off and all that good jazz.
He loves us, though. That's the thing. He loves us.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I have two passions in life. It seems it's donuts and Santa. I don't know.
Yeah. And Lisa, if you don't mind, I'm definitely going to reach out to you, and I'll copy you on the email I send to David when we try to get him set up, and we'll get those things going. But again, every time we do these, we always think there's more that we could ask, and we don't have. We've only got so much time, and I don't want to keep you up because it's a little late your way too. So you got to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you jumping on tonight and being on the show. It's been a blast. Any last parting words? Anybody got anything besides eggnog?
Come back and see us.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
We will be there with Whiskey Thief. We've got all the information. We'll have it on the website. We'll have it on the YouTube video whenever we load it to put a link on there. But we've dropped the link into the show a bunch of times. Everybody, have a good night. Stay out of trouble. And
hey, one question.
What?
Who won the bottle of eggnog tonight?
Well, you're not going to believe this. We gave away 2 bottles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kevin Holleran, the firefighter from St. Louis, and the rigged one, Mike Brock.
That's right.
You know what? I just need to send Mike Brock some real eggnog.
Yeah, that's what it is. So he'll appreciate it. Well,
Thanks,
Craig,
Lisa.
you want to give us our parting words?
Me, I don't have any parting words. Just thanks, Lisa, for coming on. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next week.
For the stories we've told of barrels and bottles and whiskey gold, from grain to glass, through fire and flame, every pour's got a legend's name.